Want to know how to batch your blog content so that you can write blog posts faster? In today's video, I am sharing my batching tips for beginners with you so that you can stop wasting time and be more consistent with your blogging and creating content. Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you are new here, my name is Maureen. I help new and growing female entrepreneurs build a profitable blogging business on WordPress without the stress so that they can turn their passions into profits and make a massive impact on the world. If this sounds like you, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the little bell right next to it so you don't miss any of the videos I post on my channel each and every week. Okay, today we are talking all about creating content more quickly and efficiently, and the way to do this is through batching. So what is batching, you might be asking? Well, batching is a technique where you focus on one specific task for a chunk of time instead of switching back and forth between tasks. So when you are writing your blog post, instead of doing the keyword research for one blog post and then moving on to coming up with a title and then switching to writing the blog post and then adding the images and so on and so forth through the entire process, you want to just break each of these tasks up into separate time frames and focus on one of these tasks for multiple blog posts before moving on to the next task. Okay, so let's break this all down. And first let me say that, like many of you watching today, I used to do this all wrong. I'd sit down and try to create my entire blog post from draft to publish in one sitting, and it would take forever, okay? If you are here right now and feeling overwhelmed with content creation, like the whole process, then pay attention to the steps I am going to give you. I promise it is going to change how you write your blog posts. Now, here are the 7 steps that you should follow to batch content for your blog. All right, number 1, how to batch content for your blog. Step 1, brainstorm a bunch of blog post ideas. Now, I tell everyone to start brainstorming about 30 to 40 blog post ideas. Do a brain dump, gather ideas, evaluate questions that you get asked, and record all of it. If you do not already have a system for collecting blog post ideas, it's time to start this, okay? You never want to be sitting down to write and staring at a blank screen. So set up a document, an Excel sheet, or designate a notebook for writing all your blog post ideas down. And anytime a blog post idea pops in your head or someone asks you a question related to your niche, add it to this list. Now, this is the content creation planner system that I use, and I give this blank template to all of my coaching clients as well as those in my content creation blueprint course, my blogging business blueprint course. And this is so helpful for recording all the ideas and planning them out from beginning to end. Now, I suggest setting aside a chunk of time every few months to write down as many blog post ideas related to your niche that come to your mind. And I teach my students how to come up with these ideas, but you can learn about some of them in my content creation playlist that I will put in the description below. Okay, if you want a more basic calendar to start, you can begin by brainstorming each month's content with my free content calendar printable and my blog post checklist. I will leave a link for this in the description below. How to batch content for your blog. Step number 2 is to do keyword research in one sitting. So once you have a good amount of blog post ideas written down, you want to set aside a chunk of time to do keyword research for at least a month's worth of blog posts. So for example, if you are blogging once per week, you would research long tail keywords for about 4 blog posts, right? Most months have 4 weeks in them. So if you're asking what's the point of keywords, well, the point is if you're spending all this time writing blog posts, you want people to be able to find them, right? And in order to do this, you have to have a search engine optimization strategy. You want to make sure that you are writing about topics and targeting specific long tail keywords that people are actually searching for. And this starts with keyword research to see what particular words people are using when they're searching for information within your niche. Now, there are many free options available to you. I personally teach my course students and clients how to do this step by step, and what search volumes and difficulties you want to be looking for when you're using sites. But 2 that I can suggest to you right now that I love and recommend to everyone that I work with are Ubersuggest and Google Keyword Planner. they are 2 free sites where you can start doing some keyword research. Then I also suggest using a free plugin like Yoast SEO to ensure that your blog posts are optimized for your long tail keywords that you have chosen. Because there's nothing worse than putting a ton of time and effort into creating some really great blog posts, but then no one ends up reading them because they can't find them. All right, so if you need more step-by-step help with this, check out my content creation blueprint course. I've put a link in the description below. How to batch content for your blog. Step number 3 is come up with all your blog post titles in one sitting for the month. So once you have your blog post ideas and your keywords for the next month or 2 months or quarter, however you want to schedule this out, the next thing you want to do is set aside time to come up with attention-grabbing titles for each of these blog posts, because there are a lot of distractions online, right? And if you don't have an enticing title that really sparks curiosity and draws someone in, it's unlikely that they're going to click on your blog post at all. Now, I do have some favorite tools for getting really good headlines, but the main thing that you want to focus on is that to make sure your keywords or your long tail keyword is in your title. That is very important for SEO. So once you've set aside some time to just brainstorm all your blog post ideas for the month, and you've set aside a chunk of time and done your keyword research, the next chunk of time you want to set aside is to come up with those enticing titles for each of these blog posts. All right, the 4th step in batching content for your blog is to then create outlines. So set aside a part of a day for creating simple outlines for each of these blog posts. Think 3 to 5 main points that you want to convey per post, and then you can turn these into H2 headers when you actually write your post. So make a separate doc for each of these blog post outlines and add in your main talking points. This is so helpful and makes the blog post writing process so much less overwhelming and daunting when it's time to actually sit down and write it out. All right, how to batch content for your blog. Step number 5 is to sit down and write the blog posts. Yes, at some point you actually have to sit down and write out these blog posts. But if you already batched, your keyword research and your attention-grabbing titles for all these posts, and you've created outlines for each of these, then you're just really filling in the details. And it's so much less overwhelming and the process goes so much more quickly. If you need a little bit more help, make sure to download my free blog post checklist in the description below to make the process even easier. Once your blog posts are written, the next batching step is to format all of these in WordPress and add your images, your videos, and any freebies you want to put in there. So in my blog post, I embed my corresponding YouTube video. I add in graphics. You can see how they help break up the text and just make the post a little more interesting. Plus, one of your main goals should be getting people on your email list from your blog. So adding in your freebie a few times within your post is key. It may seem like a lot, but people often need to see things more than once before they take action. So don't be afraid to put your freebie in the beginning, the middle, the end. You can test it out, see what works for you. And the last step in the batching process is to proofread and schedule to publish all of these posts for the month. So if you are publishing 1 blog post per week, set aside a chunk of time to proofread all 4 blog posts and schedule the publish date in advance within your WordPress blog post. So it automatically goes out on the scheduled day. You don't have to worry about forgetting to post it or taking the time to do it each week. All right, and that is my process for batching content. Now, this can be done with social media content. I personally currently use the same exact process when I batch content for YouTube, but instead of writing out physically all the content, I take my outline and I speak it all out. And then I have someone who takes my video transcription of my content and I give them my long tail keyword that I'm ranking for, the images I want to share, and they turn it into a blog post for me. So if you find it easier to record a video than sit down and write out blog posts and outline them, you can absolutely do this as well. You just follow the same batching steps and record your info from an outline instead of writing it all out, and then just have your video transcribed for free using a service like Otter AI, which is what I use. Then you can format it on your own, or you can pay someone else to format it for you. And then one more thing that I just want to mention is don't forget to promote your blog posts once they are published. So if you have optimized your blog post for SEO, it's still going to take a few months before it starts showing up in search results. So you need to be promoting your blog posts after you publish them, okay? Now my two favorite ways to drive traffic to my blog are through Pinterest and YouTube. Both of these social media platforms are search engines, so that means when someone types in the keywords that you use, then your posts are going to show up and people are going to find them for a long time to come. Now, I highly recommend, if you're going to do one of these, choose one or the other and get really good at it. Doing both of them at the same time can be a little bit overwhelming, but I definitely recommend Pinterest and YouTube as a great driver of traffic. You can also promote these in your Facebook group, on your business page, anywhere that you have a following. Make sure that you're getting your blog posts out there. Now, I hope you found this video helpful. Please hit the like button if you liked it and share it with anyone who may also benefit from it. And don't forget to grab my free blog post checklist and content calendar below, and I'll see you in the next video.